finally to the finale of set 5, where we get the evolve forms. So let's begin. But first, a card of the day, which is a Aurora Battle Princess support that is double rare. Aurora Battle Princess Capture Caprino, which is a grade 2 with taking power and the skill is auto rearguard. When this card attacks, if you have at least a grade 3 Vanguard Seraph, cost Soul Blast 1, your opponent chooses a card from the drop zone and imprison it. Once again, another drop zone imprisonment, which can in a way still be a plus for your opponent because it gives them an option for them to call back, but at the same time it does increases your prison count. In which the second skill is auto rearguard. At the end of this card attack, cost retire this unit, choose one of your opponent's imprisoned cards in their prison and put it to the bottom of the deck, and then if you choose a card, draw a card. This could basically permanently make your opponent lose some important pieces in their prison. Does minus you a prison count as well, but if you have a way to regenerate all those prisoners, this you don't really mind too much. Overall not too bad, just not sure if you have the space for it. And now to the new Varga stuff. Let's start with Storm Slasher Dragon, which is grade 1 with power and the skills auto. When retired from rearguard by the ability of your at least grade 3 Varga, you may call this to back row rearguard as rest. But if your Vanguard is in Marham state, aka it's the new keyword, that is basically when you're on the new Vanguard, cost Soul Blast 1, stand this unit. It could be very helpful for double boosting for the new Vanguard Varga. In which the second skill is count rearguard. If your Vanguard's in Mayhem state, plus 5k, active on your opponent's turn as well. It could be just helpful for some double boosting, especially, spoiler alert, if you watch the anime, new Varga just nukes everything. And then Fiend Beast Yushinmaru, which is grade 2 with taking power and the skills auto. When retired from rearguard by the ability of your at least grade 3 Varga, choose one of your units against those 5k power in your turn, but your Vanguard's in Mayhem state, plus 10k instead. You have better options in this, especially since there are units that does something similar and better. In which now we go to the corrupted Varga, Unparalleled Dragoslith Varga Dragress Rakshasa, which is a grade 3 with taking power and the skill is Mereworm, where auto when placed by riding on a Varga with a different name from this unit, or a unit with the Margam state, until the end of the fight, this unit gets Marham state. And you activate Persona Ride if you did not perform Persona Ride during this ride. Just think of it as units in dress, but you get Persona Ride. But anyway, second skill, Auto Vanguard. Once per turn, when this unit in Mereworm state attacks a Vanguard, retire all the front row rearguards, and this card is 10k power. At the end of the battle, you can cost Counter Blast 1, retire all the back row rearguards, which stand this unit, drive -2 into the end turn. Basically, compared to original Varga, this one nukes everything instead of just the front row, and this one nukes the front row and gets the extra 10k power for free in comparison to the original Varga. Could be better or worse in certain scenarios, but considering all the support cards that you have that has retire abilities, this isn't too bad. Especially with the Divine skill, where it's a slight improvement, where Auto Vanguard at the end of this card attack, if this card was stood by the original auto ability this turn, aka the first skill, cost Counter Blast 1, stand this unit, and drive -2. Compare this to the original one is restricted if your opponent has 4 or more damage. This one doesn't have it. So in many ways, this is definitely a huge improvement. Now the only thing is, you do have to run the original Varga, because to get this in Mereworm state, you have to ride this on top of a Mereworm state unit or on top of a different name Varga, aka the original. And you're definitely not going to be in Mereworm state on your first grade 3 ride. So definitely speak of a evolve form upgrade, especially corrupted, because it nukes everything. And now to the new Rezael support, we start off with Knight of Returning Spirit Anos, which is grade 2 with taking power and the skill is auto rearguard. When your other unit is placed on rearguard by the card ability of your at least grade 3 Vanguard Rezael, plus 10k. Funny thing is, this is not once per turn, so this could actually stack. Although I would say most of the time it is just going to be plus 10k, and you have more other important units than this. In which we go to Reflective Dragon, which is grade 1 with taking power and the skill is auto back row rearguard. When your other unit is placed on rearguard in the same column as this unit by the ability of your at least grade 3 Rezael, cost Soul Blast 1, stand this unit. Basically, for your multi-attacking rearguards, it's going to be multi-boosting. And considering that Soul is not much of an issue for Rezael, I say definitely use this. And now we go to the Fated King of Miracles Rezael Vita, which is grade 3 with 13 power and the skill is just like Levy Dress, where Count Vanguard, this card is treated as the original, and during your turn, this card gets 5k power for every original copy in Soul, and also gets the Divine skill. And then the second skill, where Auto Vanguard, when this card attacks a Vanguard, costs Counter Blast 1, choose 2 cards from your drop zone with different grades and total with grade less than and equal to your damage zone, call them to rearguard, then you can put a grade 3 or greater Rezael from your hand to Soul, and then choose a grade 3 or less card from the drop zone and call it to rearguard. And if your opponent's Vanguard is at least a grade 3, the units called by this ability gets those 5k power. So basically, same result as the original, except that you're going to lose the Divine skill if you ride it on your grade 3 ride turn, And it's also unfortunate that you don't get the extra power buff unless you get the extra bonus along with it, aka the superior call from getting the extra Rezael to soul. And comparing this to Levy Dress, where Levy Dress might be worth putting in the ride deck for your grade 3 ride, I have to say this one is probably not as worth it because it can be a hit or miss, and if you lose out on the divine skill, which can be important timing sometimes in the early game, that might hurt you as well. So personally, I think just having the original first and then ride this on top of it for full power for consistency is much better. And finally, Blessed Dragon Gabwelius, which is a grade 3 protected power. The skill is auto, when placed on rearguard, cost soul +1, look at top card of your deck, put it on the top or bottom. If you put it at the bottom, plus 5k power. This could definitely help Rezael, especially to stack the deck. In which the second skill is auto rearguard. When this card attacks, if your damage zone has 4 or more cards, until the end of the battle, this card gets 5k power. But if it was placed by the card ability of your invaded one this turn and you perform no drive checks from a rearguard this turn, cost count +1, this unit gets plus 10k power, and the ability to perform drive checks with a drive -1. Once again, rearguards with drive checks, but combining this with Rezael can be very powerful. And luckily, you can even use this with Liael and Morta, since it works with any faded one, and Liael and Morta gain some extra advantage with rearguard attacks can be quite nasty, especially when that is itself a multi-attack deck. So overall, this is a very good surprising addition, especially it does feel like an important unit considering that it can do basically rearguard drive checks. Still waiting for us to build card. And finally, here are the secret rares. And I have to say, look gorgeous, but I don't really care about them. So that's it for the new Rezael and Varga. What do you guys think of it? Varga is definitely a big upgrade. In fact, that one speaks more of evolved form than Rezael, where Rezael basically kind of does exactly the same thing, just with slight improvements if you actually have the original. But Gabwelius though, I really like having that along with it. Still hoping that they make a Sabil, but other than that, there's really not much to say about this. And what decks are you looking forward to? Me, I'm already playing Rezael and Levy Dress and maybe Leo Odium. But other than that, that's it for this, and see you all next time.